podcast a few years ago that was Spend It Like You Mean It. And it was about spending your money like you mean it. And it was covering lots of different things, how it's important to spend it in your chosen ways. But what I want to do now is make it about your time. Spend your time like you mean it. I had an aneurysm a little over a year ago. It was August. It's currently August, and it was August of 2024. And I was in the hospital for 2 months. I was in the ICU for 3 weeks of that. I went through a lot, and I don't remember most of it. My husband remembers everything because he was there sitting with me in the ICU, and I'm a stubborn person, so that's what I'm telling myself. I'm stubborn, and my stubbornness, but honestly, it was also very helpful where I was. So Dr. Spooner was my physician, and this is in Nashville, Tennessee at St. Thomas, and I was so lucky to get him. I have cried and given him a hug at my last appointment because I was not sure I would make it, and I did. And when I came out of the hospital, I was blind. My aneurysm had bled into my eyes, and I couldn't see. My left eye was totally dark. My right eye had this kind of halo, so I could tell day or night, dark or light, and I had a little sense of shape. So my husband would help me walk around because I didn't walk for 2 months. I had about 2 weeks of physical therapy in Murfreesboro. Those people were also amazing and so helpful. I don't know what their faces look like, but I still remember them and hope I can go thank them one day. So I wanted to restart. Spend it like you mean it and make it about your time. Spend your time like you mean it, because money's limited, but time is limited. And if I had not come out of that, I wouldn't have known, I guess. I don't know. But I did. And then I had a month of sitting in an apartment because my husband and I were buying a new house. This is my bedroom. And it was so lovely to get to see again in November. I had surgery on this eye first, and then I wanted to do one at a time because I just was like, ooh, what if it doesn't work? So I had this one first because that was the worst one, and I figured if it didn't work out, then, well, what did I lose? Nothing. It was already blind. I had that surgery done, and they, Tennessee Retina, shout out to those people. Those doctors are freaking amazing. Had the surgery, and they took off the bandage the next day, and I could see. If you've ever been blind and gotten to see again, it is it's pretty amazing. And then yes, yeah, and there's this weird little girl where they had stuck in a pipe to drain the blood from my head, and they did an amazing job kind of hiding it back there, but as it's grown in more curly. No complaints. And then, yeah, so now here I am. I had the second eye surgery in January, and I can see, and I'm still out on disability. I can't work full time. I do not have the energy. I am trying to get back into things and doing things, and making sure that I am spending this time as well as I can. And sorry, straightening a thing on my little table here. I'm a little, not OCD, I'm just a little easily annoyed by random things. Like, clearly not my hair. My hair's fine. I did have to cut off all my hair. And it's growing in again. I'm very excited. So this is a year of growth. They didn't shave it, but they cut it really short because when I was in the hospital for so long, it got matted. And now it's growing back out, and I really appreciate that, I got to have it cut out, I guess, that it, I would have liked to have it saved, but whatever. Living in gratitude, very, very much. And so I thought a great way to start back and do spend it like you mean it, spend your time like you mean it, is to show off some books that I got. I have had to read slower, so I don't read as quickly anymore. And in my GoodReads, which I'll put in the description if you wanted to connect with me on GoodReads, there were so many books from years ago that I really didn't remember. Like, I remembered reading them, but I didn't remember what they were about it or like any details. And I get that sometimes some books aren't that memorable, but I decided to appreciate that if I read slower, I'm probably going to remember a lot more. And I've been reading some great books. So happy that I can read and have the eyesight to do so. So grateful. And I posted online on my personal pages. Last month I bought 8 books. And it was just just a crazy experience. I bought one from an author who's also a speaker, and I thought that was fabulous. She does a great job. It's on making decisions in management, not just management in like business, but like management of your life. So that's really cool. But I also got I got 2 signed autobiographies at the National Sports Collectors Convention in Chicago. That was pretty exciting also. The convention is where my husband was working. I was working on another website. That's a story for another day. So I bought Billie Jean King's autobiography and Sarah Huckabee Sanders. And while it was weird to see a political biography, this guy there, he had a booth. He had just a bunch of books, a bunch of biographies by a bunch of different people. And I am, to be honest, not a fan of hers, but I definitely want to understand other sides. I want to understand what other people are thinking. I want to understand what her points are, because either I'll be enlightened and maybe get a little more insight and maybe, grow, or that's how I figure out how I really disagree with her, and then I'm able to disagree to specific points. Yeah, I'm very curious, I'm gonna read it, and I want to know about things that are different than what I'm already thinking. I don't need to just keep reinforcing what I already think, and I hope that I can help y'all who watch this do the same. So welcome back if you've ever heard my podcast before, and welcome to Spend It Like You Mean It being your time. And I'm going to show you my books that I got at Better World Books. Yes, after buying 8 books in July, apparently I didn't have enough. So I went with a friend. A bestie came to visit. She lives in St. Louis now, and she came, and that was so much fun. And she came with her boyfriend, who's also a reader. She and I went to McKAY's bookstore. I know McKAY's has a few branches, but the one in Nashville is huge. It is, it's so delightful. I love it so much. And so, yeah, I went a little nuts because like several of the books that I bought were like $1.50. I mean, so a used bookstore in Nashville. And if you don't know anything about Nashville, I mean, we have Vanderbilt University, we have Middle Tennessee State University, Austin Peay is nearby, Fisk University, Meharry, Tennessee State University. So Middle Tennessee has a lot of education going on. So McKAY's actually gets really interesting to me textbooks too. And so yeah, some of what I bought were textbooks. I am hooked on 3 aisles in that whole store, and I'll hopefully be able to slide a photo into this video somewhere. It's incredible. It's so big. But walking in, I didn't even have to like look for them. Like I was telling my friend, I said, it's the second row books like back, and it's about 3 over from the wall, and they're like, I know exactly where I'm going. It's economics and philosophy, and I forget what else is in there, but yeah, those are the big ones for me. So, okay, enough. If you've made it this far, good grief, you must be awesome. So, I got Philosophy of Political Science. I was a philosophy major in college at College Charleston, and I minored in political science. So I can tell because it's highlighted. Textbook. Oh, how exciting. The Philosophical Foundations of Social Thought. I am so excited to read that. Let's see. Got some hardbacks too, which is also lovely. So this one, the New Urban Crisis, because it has some stains on it, was a little cheaper than the other copies because, I am on a budget. I'm not working at the moment. And how our cities are increasing inequality, deepening segregation, and failing the middle class, and what we could do about it. And it's written by Richard Florida, who I have read some of his other work, and he's really good. He's a really good social scientist. So I was, definitely getting this one. Another textbook. Handbook of the Sociology of Religion. This handbook showcases current research and thinking on the sociology of religion. The contributors, all active writers and researchers in the area, provide original chapters focusing on select aspects of their own engagement with the field. I mean, yes, I can learn all about this planet. Okay. Huddle, How Women Unlock Their Collective Power, Brooke Baldwin. So I had never heard of this woman, but this seemed really interesting. She's a veteran journalist. Veteran journalist Brooke Baldwin explores the phenomenon of women, quote unquote, huddling in the workplace, politics, activism, Hollywood, sports, and everyday friendships to support one another and make lasting change. So from, a sociology and philosophy perspective, I'm very interested. Also because, I have so many more friends from the last job that I had than I had had in any years prior. However, I still feel like a guy's girl, and I don't even know how to describe that. The female friends I have also describe themselves as guys girls, like my closest ones, because they understand, like, it's just different. So I wanna be better at being like a women's woman. The end of loyalty. The rise and fall of good jobs in America. So my dad definitely made me a pro-union child. Having a good, stable job used to be the bedrock of the American dream. What changed? Charting the golden age of the 50s and 60s, the turbulent years of the 70s and 80s, and the growth of downsizing, outsourcing, and instability in the modern era, Wordsman's narrative is a biography of the American dream gone sideways. So this was published in 2017, so it's, older, but not like 1997. So still relevant, I'm gonna hope, and interesting. Me Talk Pretty One Day, David Sedaris. I love his writing, but I've never actually read one of his books or like a collection of his essays. So that's what I did. I bought a collection of essays. They have at McKay's a lot of David Sedaris, and I'm not sure when there's a lot of something, if it's because people sell it because they don't want to keep it, or if it's because it's so popular and people are just, they don't want to keep a kabillion books in their house. I do. I want to keep a kabillion books in my house. My husband and I do. While we were there, my friend's boyfriend is into fiction. So he's an English professor, and he was looking at fiction for a couple hours. I mean, it's easy to do. So we went over to bring a bag over to him, because we had the bag, we had the cart, like we were I was ready. I knew how this was going to go. And while I was there, I don't remember what type of fiction we were in. I want to say it was like a fantasy section, but there was a misplaced, like there was a book that was just placed there that was clearly not there. And I saw the name Richard Dreyfuss. I'm like, Richard Dreyfuss, the actor? Yes, indeed. He co-wrote, let's not forget, Harry Turtledove. So yay for co-writing, because, I've thought about becoming a ghostwriter, and I'm apparently very attached to having attention. Hence a video podcast. Right. Okay. So yeah, this is Richard Dreyfuss co-wrote this book, The Two Georgias, a novel of an alternate America. And I love American history. So this was apparently right after, what was that movie he was in? Mr. Holland's Opus. Yes, this is right after Mr. Holland's Opus is when this was published. And a suspenseful tale of America that might have been, from two imaginative and talented award winners, a precious and historic painting has been stolen by terrorists, radical separatists who will stop at nothing to shatter the Union. Colonel Thomas Bushell, the government's most fearless agent, is the only man who can stop them. But this is not our world, for the stolen painting depicts a treaty of peace between George Washington and King George III. A treaty that has kept America under British rule for 2 centuries, and the terrorists who call themselves the Sons of Liberty want America to be free. Could be terrible. I don't know. I don't care. I love Richard Dreyfuss. And I'm kind of intrigued. I think that's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really excited to read that one. The Frugal Gourmet Cooks America. This is a cookbook. Like, in a big fat paperback. I believe this was published in 1986. I used to watch this with my dad. The Frugal Gourmet was one of the cooking shows that I watched with my dad. 87. So yes, copyright 87. And one of the things I love about this one, and because I was on the fence. Like our family, my husband and I, we have a lot of cookbooks in a great way. Like we have a whole bookshelf that is going to be devoted entirely to cookbooks. Not a shelf, but like a shelf. But I like that he writes like a little bit of narrative with them, and he's kind of funny sometimes. It is true that Mr. Jefferson became very fond of French. Ooh, a timer went off. I'm cooking sourdough bread, so I have to go massage my sourdough. But as I was talking about, Frugal Gourmet, he's talking about Jefferson fried chicken. It is true that Mr. Jefferson became very fond of French cuisine and imported many foods and wines from France. His architect, Patrick Henry, once complained that Jefferson had become so fond of the French that he, quote, abjured his native victuals, end quote. Oh, nonsense. This recipe comes from his daughter, Martha Randolph, and must have been used at the mansion often. You can't get more Virginia than fried chicken. This is a delicious version with old-fashioned cream gravy. So, I loved the Frugal Gourmet. Jeff Smith, that was his name. And, yeah, had to get that. 4 more. This is, also, I didn't intend to wear this today. I will also link in the not the comments, but in the description, a place where I have been buying t-shirts. They're all related to reading and books. And man, that is, I think I've gotten like 4 or 5 from them so far. So if it's not clear that I'm a nerd, it is now. Yes, okay. Mediocre. The Dangerous Legacy of White Male America. Okay, going back to the want to learn some things. I'm trying to expand my understanding of race in America and how things are going for people that are not me. And so I wanted to read this. What happens to a country that tells generations of white men that they deserve power? What happens when their identity is defined by their status over women and people of color? Mediocre, Ijeoma Olio examines the last 150 years of American history to expose the devastating consequences of white male supremacy on women, people of color, and white men themselves. She investigates the real costs of this phenomenon and then envisions a new white male identity, one free from racism and sexism. In the end, Mediocre confronts our founding myths in the hope that we will write better stories for future generations. And I think it's also interesting because, yeah, like, so it's hopefully going to address the downside of not being in a position of power and being white and male, and maybe feeling like, what has happened? Why am I getting, chastised? I didn't do this. So, my father, my pro-union, pro-cooking man. And then, boom, bust, exodus. The Rust Belt, the Maquilas, and the Tale of Two Cities. So I have been in the commercial real estate industry in Nashville for over 20 years. And if you don't know anything about Nashville, Nashville has exploded in growth. And it has been on a consistent growth path through the pandemic, through recessions. It has been going the entire time. So for me, it's exciting to get to see that, to get to see how the city's changed and grown and become a destination for so many people on Broadway, but also a destination for so many people wanting to work for some of the corporations that have set up here, like Orion, Amazon. I mean, there's a lot going on here. It's not just manufacturing out in the fields. I mean, it is a lot going on in downtown Nashville. So I thought this was really neat. And So this one, in 2002, the Rust Belt town of Galesburg, Illinois, learned that it would soon lose its largest factory, a McKAY refrigerator plant that had anchored the city's social and economic life for decades. Workers at the plant earned $15-14 an hour, had good insurance, and were assured a solid retirement. In 2004, the plant was relocated to Reynosa, Mexico, where workers sometimes worked 13-hour days for $1.10 an hour. Boom Bust Exodus offers a ground-level look at the rapid transition to a globalized economy from the perspective of those whose lives it has most deeply affected. We live in a commoditized world, increasingly divorced from the origins of the goods we consume. Chad Broughton shows that the who and where matter deeply, and he puts human faces to the relentless cycle of global manufacturing. So this kind of goes a little bit with the book about, white males in America. Because, white male factory workers, they're not doing so great. And I have to admit to being kind of intrigued by Trump's desire to bring more manufacturing back to the U.S. This was published in 2015, so 10 years ago. It'll be interesting to see how that goes. And it is going to be interesting to see how many companies bring back manufacturing or expand their manufacturing in the United States. Tennessee has a lot of it. South Carolina has a lot of it. Those are two states I've lived in with lots of manufacturing. And it will also be interesting to me to see if after Trump's tenure, will they stay? Will the next president, whoever they are, give companies, the benefits of staying in? Will the tariffs stay? Very fascinating to me. Obviously, I'm not trying to make this like a political podcast. I'm just fascinated by both sides, and I want to learn as much as I can. With reading and talking to people. Speaking of, another textbook, Liberalism and Its Critics. I've been liberal for as long as I know. I took a class in liberalism in college that was really cool. And it was based on, my stroke caused memory issues. And so sometimes names, I'm pretty sure the little black dot that is in my brain scan, that's where names are stored. So maybe I can find out from a friend. But anyway, he wrote a book called Liberalism, and this was years ago. I mean, I was in college a long time ago, quarter century ago. Okay, yeah. Anyway, so this one is much contemporary political philosophy has been a debate between utilitarianism on the one hand and Kantian or rights-based liberalism on the other. A debate now largely decided in favor of the Kantians. But the rights-based ethic has recently faced a growing challenge from a different direction, from a view that argues for a deeper understanding of citizenship and community than the liberal ethic allows. The writings collected in this volume present leading statements of rights-based liberalism and of the communitarian or civic republican alternatives to that position. The principle of selection has been to shift the focus from the familiar debate between utilitarians and Kantian liberals in order to consider a more powerful challenge to the rights-based ethic, a challenge indebted, broadly speaking, to Aristotle, Hegel, and the civic republican tradition. Wow, I'm so intrigued. Obviously because of my interest, but again, I want to get my mind expanded in different sides and different opinions. And in that vein, the last book is an Ibram X. Kendi book, How to Be an Anti-Racist. So I think that kind of speaks for itself. But I'm really excited to read this one. I don't know what order I should read them in, but I am grateful, and I have committed I will be buying no more books until 2026. Because, oh my gosh, I just bought 12 at McKAY's, 8 books in July. Gotta take it easy. Yeah, I gotta actually read them. So, this works out well. I did not actually mean to wear this for this video. I haven't even showered today. I wore this to bed. I just really wanted to talk to people and get it out there that it's important to spend your time like you mean it, and to remember to do things you enjoy and give yourself leeway. Give yourself time to rest. Rest is important. I burned myself out before this happened. I am definitely wondering if that's part of what led to the aneurysm. I was so burnt out and stressed and tired and doing way too much. And now I can't, and I know that. But I probably should have been a little more attuned to what was happening before. And I want to beg you, whoever you are, to try to stay in tune with your body. Eat when you need food. Eat dessert sometimes, because, my great-grandfather always ate dessert first because life is short. And rest when you need to, and then work hard when you can, and enjoy that too, because whatever you're doing, you're making a difference to somebody somewhere, and you may not even realize it. I hope you never have to experience what I did to appreciate the connections you have, the friends and family, to make new connections, because you realize it's really interesting and wonderful to add people to your life, to rest when you can, and understand that working hard is wonderful, and working hard is also potentially lethal. And in the long run, the memories that stuck with me are memories of the times I spent with people, not sitting at my desk. And I have memories of sitting at my desk, but that's not what I remember back with fondness. And I think I briefly mentioned, I'm working on something now. I've built a new website now, and I'm not going to market that right now because it's got some stuff needs to happen in the meantime. Yeah, stick with me on YouTube, and let's start talking about spending your time like you mean it.